Hello and welcome to the Mighty Electronic Box for the week of 29th of April?
That sounds right.
April, yeah, that's the month.
Go with it.
Yeah, April's nearly done with.
Yeah, when I'd gotten confused, I was too busy thinking about May. Because exams and shit are coming up for me. And how are you guys?
I'm good. Fucking, I'm itching to play some games though. It's like two more weeks of like non-stop work, and then it should die down a bit.
I've got 3 weeks of exams, so maybe after that we might have played some games.
Yeah.
John, have you been playing games?
I played a thing.
A thing, literally one game.
Yes, I think so.
Why don't you tell us what you played this week, John?
I will do that, Brad. So I think I mentioned this last week that I bought Persona 3 on the PlayStation Network after having to fanning around with making a USPSN account and all that shit.
Why?
So I played a lot of that this week. I think something like 10, 15 hours.
Wow.
And I think I'm pretty close to the point where I got to when I played it last. Because I played it on a friend's PS2 for a while. So yeah, that game's good. I sort of like I played like the first 2 or 3 hours, and I was sort of like, I don't know, I did want to do all the stuff I'd already done before. But I don't know, something clicked over like the weekend where I was just like playing like, ridiculous stretches of that game, and not doing anything else. So yeah, that game's awesome. But I'm fairly sure it's the only JRPG I actually really, really like, or at least series of JRPGs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same for me, but with Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I suppose Pokemon. I guess Pokemon's
I mean,
cool.
it's got all the tropes of JRPG, so I guess it kind of.
Except for like the story stuff, which is usually the thing
it
that
has
annoys
a
me.
weak story. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny that like that's almost the thing that, I don't know, draws me to Persona 3 is, or just Persona in general, is just the story is sort of, I don't know, it doesn't fall into all those tropes. Like it has some of that stuff, but I don't know. I think, I don't know how much to put it down to the developers or like the people that do like the localization stuff, because a lot of that stuff's really intelligent. Like I can't think of a specific example, but someone will make like a joke that's like terrible, and you think like, oh, it's the joke's just going to end there, no one's going to acknowledge it because it's a JRPG, but then someone says that joke was terrible. Like, I think it's like them, like I almost imagine like the localization team being like, oh, all this stuff is not going to work. Like, it might be funny in like Japanese, like to people, to like Japanese culture and stuff, but it's not going to make any sense to anyone who's not from Japan. So I think they do a lot of like intelligent, I don't know, westernizing of those games. I'm not 100% sure who actually does the localization. It might be 8-4, but I'm not 100% sure. But whoever it is does a really good job.
8-4 localize everything, so it's probably
yeah. Like a lot of the voice acting as well is pretty good. Yeah, so I guess I think that's going to be the thing I'm playing for the next couple of weeks. Hasn't really got anything else. I did threaten to sort of play Dota 2, but I don't know. I need to find a group of people who are like as bad as me, or at least willing to teach me how to play, because
I can teach you how to play League of Legends.
I don't want to play League of Legends. I don't know.
It's the same game. I just don't understand the few nuances are slightly different with Dota 2, and it's actually worse for me having played League of Legends and trying to play Dota 2, because they're basically the same thing, but I kind of can't play them the same, and then I just get even more confused.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think all of this will fade like in a couple of weeks, like after I've forgotten like I don't know, Brad on Giant Bomb, his sort of his little obsession over Dota 2 and it being on a lot of video content sort of made me want to play it. And then I don't know, like the way they were playing it was cool, I guess, for him, because you've got people who are willing to teach him how to play, just because of the nature of like the people he works with and stuff. But like obviously it's way harder, like just finding, 4 other dudes that you know well that are like either like new to Dota 2 and willing to play it, or willing to teach you. So
yeah,
I haven't really played much. I played a bit of the tutorial, but other than that, I haven't played it.
I had kind of the same experience that Brad did, but in League of Legends, like I had a friend who was really high rank in that game, like he was pretty much max rank, and so I was playing against people way higher than my skill level. And then when I went to go play on my own against people who were meant to be, the same level as me, I was just destroying everyone. So you do learn a lot quicker when you play with people who know what they're doing, and you're kind of put out your comfort zone in those games.
Yeah.
By the way, could I request we have a really quick break?
Nope.
No.
Alright, we'll be back in a minute, guys. Okay, thanks. 1 second, I got a phone call. I don't know what to say. Hello, and welcome back from the break. John, do you have any other games that you were playing this week?
I played a bit of Explosion Man with my flatmates. We were, I don't know, looking to play something 4-player, and we realised we just sort of stopped playing Explosion Man a while ago.
I didn't know that was 4-player.
Yeah, like that co-op's pretty funny, pretty hectic as well. Yeah, that game's cool. Other than that, though, I think that was it. We played some bad indie games, Avatar Pro Wrestling or something, which was terrible. Played some Super Amazing Wagon Adventure, which is actually really good. Basically Oregon Trail, but with guns and stupid shit. That game, that's probably the best indie game I can think of, except for maybe Flotilla. That on the Xbox Live indie games service, at least, because that stuff's usually complete garbage. But yeah, other than that, I think that was about it.
Nice. Joe, what did you play this week? Get anything in between work and?
Mainly just Tekken and MK again. That's pretty much it. Like, they're just easy to pop in and play, really. Just played a ton of them. I'm really trying to give the arcade stick that came with Injustice like a fair shake before I just kind of write it off and keep to playing a pad.
But why would you write it off? What's up?
I can't get used to it. Like, I mean, I've been playing games on a pad for 20 years, so it's not going to be like an overnight thing. And there are definitely things that are easier on a stick, especially in Tekken. There's a few. I don't know how good your guys' memory is with Tekken moves, but there's a few like multi-directional stuff that is just so much easier on a stick than a pad.
Right.
Purely because you've just got you can use your kind of. I use my like kind of 4 fingers of my thumb and like kind of have it on the bat of the pad, the stick. And like to do like half circles, like crouch dash stuff on a stick is just so much easier. But it's mainly the button stuff that I don't like. Like, in Tekken you have 5 buttons. You have kind of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you have your tag button. And you've got like 5 buttons but only 4 fingers. Nobody really uses their little finger to press buttons. At least I don't, because my little finger's like double jointed and doesn't really work properly. So I can't do that anyway. It's weird. Like, if you could have somehow have a stick and just like the right hand side of a pad for like your thumb and everything on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the tag button, maybe that would work. But yeah, it's a work in progress. I'm not quite done with it yet. It makes doing Kazuya's electric move a lot easier on a stick, just purely execution wise, and feel like such a fucking badass when you pull that move off. It's just awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it a bit longer. But yeah, I did play a little bit of Dust this week actually. I know John played that last week, and him mentioning it, I really wanted to go back and play as much of that as I could, and I played a bit of it today. Mainly just hop like between save files. I think I have like about 7 or 8 different save games on that, like different runs and different points throughout the game. And yeah, my opinion on that game hasn't changed. That game is fucking awesome, and you should really, really play that. And John, why haven't you played more Dust? My final question.
I don't know.
You,
I don't know. I've been weird with games recently. I've just not.
you goddamn crazy person.
I've been losing just the motivation to actually slog through anything that's substantial. Like I've just found myself being lazy and like
I've been like that
playing
too,
FIFA and stuff. Just
I must admit, it's the main
like,
reason.
I don't know what it is.
There's not much out at the moment, really. I mean,
Yeah,
there is Metal Gear I want to play. There's BioShock, but there's I don't know. Like, even though I haven't played those games, I kind of know what I'm in for. Like, for the most part, like, you know, story wise, I mean, that doesn't apply to Metal Gear, obviously, but you know, story wise, I don't know, but like, you know, I don't really feel like there's anything gameplay related that's really going to blow me away in either of those two games. Like, you know, BioShock is probably going to be a, you know, fairly functional shooter. Metal Gear's, you know, seems to be a really well-made action game. You know, kind of. I'm not in a hurry to play those games, even though I do want to play them, but I feel you on that.
Was that everything then, Joe?
Yeah, that was everything. Did play a little bit more Injustice, but kind of like I'm intentionally not playing much of that game because I really want to focus on MK now. But yeah, I'll get into Injustice probably after Evo. Probably give that game like a lot more time. Yeah. But I still can't see myself getting as invested in it as other fighting games because I'm just DC characters like I don't know if it's just me, but they just seem 90% of DC characters just seem really, really lame. They're not cool. Like, you know.
Man, so many people are raging right now.
They probably are, but fuck them. To be blunt, Batman is fucking free. I don't care what anybody says. He's a fucking dude. He's a dude in a fucking suit. Like, they're really weird characters, like fucking, like Aquaman. Like, really? Like,
Aquaman's always sucked.
I mean, he's just dumb. Like,
I do agree because he's like, it feels weird that they've got to fall back on characters like Aquaman and stuff.
Yeah,
but I think they would have a bigger roster of just I don't know characters that work in a fighting game.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Watchmen is DC, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, like. There might be something weird with like the.
Oh, I imagine that. I imagine there is because I don't think was the Watchmen film Warner Brothers. I don't think it was it?
No, I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up now because
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was. Let's have a look.
But yeah, I imagine there'd be some weird licensing.
No, distributed by Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, and
I just imagine there'd be some weird licensing thing.
I would assume there is because I was hoping for some Watchmen characters in there. Like, I think Dr. Manhattan would make a pretty cool fighting game character.
Yeah, but I mean, other than Dr. Manhattan, they are, as you said, all just dudes. Like,
yeah, but that's not that big of a deal. I mean, they get around that. I mean, I haven't played enough of the story to kind of get, you know, exactly how they get around it, but I think it's similar to what they did in Mortal Kombat versus DC, where it was like, oh, alternate universe, you know, Superman actually isn't, you know, ridiculously like powerful. If you guys don't mind a slight spoiler, at the beginning of the game, kind of explain.
Go for it.
The beginning of the game, I think the Joker somehow like sets off a nuke in whatever the city that Superman is called. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Metropolis.
That's the one. Yeah, and Superman like goes into the interrogation room where Joker is. You don't really see it, but you just kind of hear him like just straight up punch a hole through him. It's like Batman's all like, "No, what are you doing?" And
it's
pretty fucking cool actually. Like you just kind of...
Wait, so what? The Joker just dies right at the start of the story.
Well, it kind of does a, you know, previously. I mean, I won't get into that because that is like, to be honest, I'm not really sure because wasn't paying much attention to it. I mean, I said it last week. Like the beginning of that game, I couldn't get behind it at all. It just feels so silly. Like it's the only word I can really use to describe it. It's like you've got dudes like fighting in the air, and you know. Like, I just think, like, some of the DC characters just don't seem that interesting. Like Superman, in that sense. You can't fight Superman as Superman because he's just he's too good. Like, how can you fight Superman unless you're, you know, Kryptonian or whatever it is,
Mm.
you can't fight him. You know, they always have to have like some fucking, you know, compromise for Batman to be able to fight anyone. You know, because you can't just make up for the fact that he's just a dude in a suit.
Yeah.
You know, they always have to do that. Like all the other like supernatural characters that they've got in there, like Bane. They've got like the Batman and Robin, like Mr. Freeze-esque Bane in the game.
Mm.
You know, he's like fucking like 7 feet tall. It looks like he's about fucking 600 pounds. You know, and it's like, how would Catwoman fight him? Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. And for that reason, like, I'm not that fussed about Injustice yet. So hopefully once the game's been kind of picked apart a little bit more, like, I'll probably like look back into it. But for now, I just haven't got the time to put into it. So
fair enough.
we'll see. I'm not sure what DLC characters there'll be though. Maybe they'll
Lobo.
like
Lobo is some dude.
Oh yeah, I've seen the first one announced. I won't be surprised if they bring in like some form of like guest character.
Yeah, but I don't know. That'd be a bit weird.
I mean, they could make one fit. They had Freddy in MK.
I guess.
I mean, and he worked well enough in that. He's actually a really, really fucking good character in that game. He's definitely top tier in the game. But yeah, they could bring in somebody. I'm trying to think. I mean, they've got like a whole fucking library of films that they could just sort of, you know, find one that fits. It's like, you know, who would fit? Like, we'll bring in this character or something. But yeah, that's it for me. That's all I played this week.
Cool. I guess that just leaves myself. I think first of all, I went back with a friend and played some Sleepy Dogs.
There we are.
And we weren't even doing any of the story stuff. We were just dicking around because that game, as you know, is pretty fun to dick around in. And I know when I've talked about Sleeping Dogs before, I've mentioned that I found a fair few bugs, and those are also kind of fun. I don't know if you remember, I might have mentioned one time the dancing girls advertising some sort of energy drink. You can grab them and drag them. Yeah, that apparently works on any on the set that I know it works on. You can drag them in any particular direction, and this is after you get a certain distance away. It just goes absolutely mental. And like they will fly at rocket speed across the world with you attached to them, bounce up buildings and stuff. It's awesome. But I also found a few things that are awesome that I didn't know were in the game and also aren't bugs. So one of them is if you have a gun, which, you know, most of the time in Sleeping Dogs you don't have a gun. So this is why I've never noticed this before. But if you have a gun and you're in the stunt position, you know, you can open the door. And in all the quick looks, Vinny used that just to repeatedly bash people and cars out of the way, which is also very fun.
Yeah.
But if you have a gun and you open the door, and then you get out of the car, you jump. Well, it also works on bikes. It actually looks way cooler on bikes. But you jump backwards. The whole game goes into slow motion. So you're on your back, flying backwards through the air. You pull out the gun, and then every vehicle you shoot instantly explodes. And it automatically locks onto your car. So you jump out of your car and you just have a gun pointing at your car. You just shoot it, it explodes, blows up everything, and then it continues in slow motion for like at least 5 seconds, like somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds, where you're just in slow motion. Even if you land on the ground, you just kind of stay there and you can just keep dumping with the gun in slow motion. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, especially when you get back up. And if you shoot the car quick enough, there's just black smoke everywhere, and you get back up, like stare at the camera with like a smoking gun, and just everything's black smoke behind you because you're just blowing everything up. I totally didn't know that was in the game, and that's still awesome. And I just really wish we had been recording what we were doing in that session, because a bunch of other bugs came up. Two of my favorite ones were my friend bailed out of a car with another car right next to him, and as he bailed out the car, he kind of landed on top of the car that was next to him and got pinged into space and died. Just like shot up in the air for no apparent reason, just instantly died. And then the best one was, you know, the double-decker buses. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in Sleeping Dogs, in like a certain area, there are like these double-decker.
Do you mean
really
like
big
the
buses.
tram things? The like.
Not the tram things.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't. I don't think you can drive the trams, but there are
No.
actual buses, like you can just drive on the road.
Oh,
They're
right,
double-decker buses, and they're really unstable. Like you turn around a corner and they lean so heavily. And so me and my friend just spent ages trying to tip one over. But the thing is, they look really unstable, but I'm pretty sure the game tries to, center the gravity back. Like it fudges with it a bit. So once it gets really tilted, it'll just kind of lean back. And we spent ages, like probably about 15 to 20 minutes, trying to flip over this bus. And eventually I managed to find this wall where I finally got to flip over. And it was lying down on its side, and I was like, yes, I'm victorious. So I climb out the bus. Like, he starts crawling up and climbs out the door. And he's standing on top of the bus with his feet kind of intersecting with the bus. And then just shoots off and just dies instantly. Like, he just went off the bus and just fell so far that I just instantaneously died. It was so random. So yeah, don't flip over buses and Sleeping Dogs. Bad things happen.
Yeah, they're like weebles. You can't over hardly try.
Nope.
When you do, they just kill you.
Yeah, they do fuck you up, weevils. So yeah, that was Sleeping Dogs. I again was playing a lot of StarCraft. I know I've mentioned I have been playing a fair bit of StarCraft. I got promoted to Platinum over the last 2 weeks, so I'm out of Gold League.
What's the like? How far from like top tier is that?
So it goes bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, masters, and grandmasters. So platinum's probably, I think it's the middle one. But of course, each time you go up, it kind of tapers. It's like a triangle shape. So like, more players are in the bronze to gold than so on and so on. In fact, grandmasters is the top 200 players in the region. Like it's 200 and that's it. It's one league, and then masters has quite a lot of players. Diamond more, etc. But it's funny because this in Heart of the Swarm, I got placed in bronze to start with, and I got to platinum without losing a single game against another Protoss player. It's like I have a 100% win ratio just going through all those leagues, just battering people completely unfairly. And I think I've only lost one game against a Terran player as well. So my ratio looks ridiculously good just because I started playing absolute scrubs and just sort of kind of face rolling them.
Do you find it fun to win though? Like when you play scrubs? Like
No, I was kind of more nervous about losing. Like when I was in Bronze League, I was like, I don't want to fucking lose in Bronze League. That'd be disgraceful. And my final game in Bronze League, I played this guy. So people who are like really good at StarCraft, quite often when they play on like a different server, so say like a Korean came and wanted to play on the EU server or vice versa, but they didn't want people to know who they are. Say they like live stream a lot and they didn't want people stream sniping them and stuff. They will replace their name with what's called a barcode. It's basically just like LLLLLL, so it looks like a barcode, so they don't get sniped. And the dude I played in my final Bronze League match had a barcode for a name, and I'm fairly sure he was just taking the piss, like he wasn't legitimately good, because he was unranked, so I had no idea to tell him whether or not he was, so he might have just called himself that because it looks cool. And I so nearly lost to him. Like, it was a PvP. He ended up, like, in my base, trashing all my shit, whilst I was in his base, trashing all his shit. And then I built, like, a second base somewhere, hidden, like, hoping he wouldn't find it. And then eventually he pulled back to try and kill my units and killed all my stuff. So I cancelled my other base, took all my probes, and started mining back in my base because he hadn't killed everything yet. In fact, he had left all my gateways there. I just plopped down a pylon, warped in, like, another round of units, and somehow managed to eke out that game, my last game in bronze, so I didn't actually lose, because that'd have been tense. And it was great. His response was this, well, fuck, GG, and then quit. It was like, yeah, that was pretty close. So yeah, as I said, it's not that fun winning against low-level people, like but I was very nervous about actually losing to them, because it kind of would have looked shitty.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, there was another StarCraft tournament this weekend. DreamHack Stockholm happened, and that was pretty exciting watching that with some of the StarCraft Society people. And I think, from what it looks like, they are planning to do a trip to Valencia in July. So there's another DreamHack on in Spain, and it seems like a bunch of them are planning on going there. So I might end up going with them. to watch live StarCraft in Spain, which would be pretty awesome. Pretty excited about that if that does happen.
Would you ever go and play?
It's funny. The cheapest tickets that are available at the moment are the competitor tickets. So, like, it's really weird. It's like €35, and you do actually get to play because it's an open tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, you just start as, like, best of ones. So, like, you get knocked out really easy, and all the good players are bide through until, like, the finals. It wouldn't be on stage or anything, but yes, theoretically, I could play if I wanted to. And just cheese loads of people who are probably way better than me. So
there's no better teacher than losing, though.
That's one way to look at it.
It's true. There's like if you constantly win, you don't know what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to be doing something wrong. So.
Yes, indeed. Tell that to Leenock.
I don't know who that is.
Leenock is a Korean StarCraft player who basically went through the whole of DreamHack without dropping a single game. He just battered everyone until.
Well, yeah. Maybe he's just clear cut the best.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal at times.
What's like a typical game length for like a competitive StarCraft game, or is it just a case of like how long's a piece of string?
It can vary wildly, but I'd say if it wasn't cheese, like if someone wasn't cheesing, it would be anywhere between 20 to 40 minutes, like around 30 minutes. For a proper macro game, because generally, like, good players will take it to the end game. At times, like, you'll get games which run 40 minutes, which is like crazy. Like when the in-game clock starts getting over an hour because everything's at 1.5 times speed, so it's kind of hard to say what actual.
Yeah.
When those games happen, they're kind of epic. And then sometimes you'll get games which literally last less than 5 minutes because someone will just straight up cheese. And end it that way. So it can vary wildly, but I'd say around half an hour, 20 minutes half. The last thing I did was I started messing with a bit of live streaming on the old Twitch TV. I was just streaming some Shootmania over the weekend to kind of test out what kind of settings I need to be on, what kind of network the Imperial internet I'm using here has, and Shootmania is alright. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but you can actually play that for free, even though it's like $20. So what's that? It's like somewhere between 12
like 50p.
Yeah, basically. So it's about 50p to get the full game. But if you just want to play the elite mode, which is why the fuck would you want to play anything else? You can actually play it for free, as well as Royal mode, which is Jeff's favorite mode. If you've seen any of the footage on TNT. So I was playing Elite because that's the one I like the most. It's kind of reminiscent of Search and Destroy from Call of Duty or whatever that mode is from Counter-Strike. But a slight twist. One player has a better weapon than all the other players, but he's the only player on that team that plays. And the other team has 3 players with worse weapons. And that guy has to try and either eliminate the entire enemy team or capture the flagpole. When it's basically locked down for a certain amount of time, and he has to stay alive until it unlocks, and then capture it or kill everyone within the remaining time. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did this week. I bought FIFA Street again.
What, the first one?
Why?
No, not the first one. The one that came out last year.
The FIFA Street.
Yeah, the new FIFA Street.
I didn't know there was a FIFA Street that came out last year.
Because my disc was busted, so.
Okay.
I bought another copy off eBay for like $5.
I was going to ask like what possessed you to just buy it again. I thought you were done with that game.
I like it.
Yeah.
I need to persuade other people to play it because it's actually like really kind of kooky. It's like if people like FIFA, like it's kind of a good change of pace.
Yeah. I mean, from what I played of it, I liked it, but my friends that I played with didn't seem to share my enthusiasm, I guess.
Weird. Maybe
it's just sort of dumb, and it's funny because like that's like what I do when I play FIFA normally. Like when I'm playing against friends, at least, is I just I mess around. Like I don't actually play to win. I guess I just do stupid shit and try to score like amazing wonder goals all the time. Like that's sort of like what FIFA Street is, just 24/7. So
yeah, FIFA Street is 24/7 being a dick. But at times, the things that gets frustrating with it is when someone just scores a straight up FIFA Jew goal against you, like just passes it about and then just scores a normal FIFA goal, and you're just like, well, why am I even playing this?
Yeah. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, that sort of sucks. But
the tackling in it is really fucking weird. I mean, it makes sense because you couldn't do the kind of skill stuff, but like you just lunge, and like 9 times out of 10, you'll just lunge up against the dude, rub your leg on him, and nothing happen.
I might buy that actually. I don't know.
My live has like 5 days left on it, so if you can get it before then, maybe we can play a game together. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to renew my live. What do you think?
Yeah.
Should I get?
I don't know.
I'm definitely not going to when mine runs out. I think I've probably got like, I don't know, just maybe 2 months left on it.
Yeah. Like, FIFA's the only thing I play online, except maybe when I cruise on Forza. I've got a massive list all of a sudden. Forza with my friends, but
I play other stuff online, just not on the 360. So.
Oh, has it got an online pass?
Yeah.
Huh.
I wonder if the guy who sent me this copy used his online pass. Let me check.
I bought EA MMA used, I think, and the dude hadn't used the online pass. And I was like,
I have an online pass here. I don't know if it's used. Can you punch these in without the game?
I think so, yeah, because doesn't it just count as like a...
It's just a download code.
Yeah, it counts as DLC, basically, doesn't it? I know when I've done it before, I think like the Gears 3 one, it was in like the save data list. It's just, online pass, and it's,
What's
like...
the normal format for an Xbox code? Is it 5 sets of 4 or...?
Yeah, I think so.
See, this is 4 sets of 4, so I think it might be an EA code. Because EA obviously have you sign in with your EA account, and then it'll link it with that, so you might get a disc to enter the code.
Speaking of EA, that reminds me. Did you guys see that? I don't know if I have no idea if it's real. There's a picture floating around on the internets, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hang on, I'll check, because I took a picture of the thing, and I'll check what date I took the picture on. Oh, 15th of April, so yeah, 2 weeks ago almost. Yeah, apparently they were voted like the worst company in America a second year in a row.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the picture that was going around? Like, was supposedly a response from the CEO or C something. Like they basically like one of the head guys at EA.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'll. Can you send a picture on Skype?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you do that? Is it in
Have you got it downloaded? Cause
yeah, it's just on my desktop.
It's conversation and then send.
Yeah.
File.
Here we go.
But I mean, Peter Moore, he was like, I suppose, probably the highest person up at EA at the minute since John.
That's who allegedly this is from.
Huh. Okay, because he put like an official statement on EA's website, like.
I hope this is his official statement, because if this is actually real, I think it's fucking awesome.
There was a thread on Giant Bomb about it, the whole voting for the dumbest thing. And I posted, coincidentally, America voted the dumbest country in the world twice in a row as well.
No, honestly, I just think fucking gamers are probably just the stupidest fucking group of people ever.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like the word gamer. Because like, when people like say like, when people use that like to describe me, like I don't get pissed off, but I'm like, no, I don't identify with that term at all. Like if you call me a gamer, I'm like, no, I like video games. Like there's a difference.
I'm pretty sure this isn't real.
Oh man, didn't think so. Real. I didn't think it would be, but
no, there's an actual statement on.
What is his actual statement? Have you guys?
It's a lot of that, but less
blunt,
less exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Less, like sarcasm, I guess. It's just him being pretty blunt. Like, people voted us as the worst company in America, but we're not these companies that actually destroy communities and kill people. Like,
we're companies that we're a company that, oh man, Mass Effect, you got a bad game, fucking deal with it.
It's like
fucking crybabies. Jesus.
Yeah, he talks a bit about that sort of stuff. Also I can't see Peter Moore like saying internet like that. Like,
I didn't think it was real.
I
just thought it would have been. It was one of those things where it was like, this probably isn't real, but it would be kind of cool if it was.
No, that's definitely not.
It's still pretty funny though.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean that is almost what he said.
I mean, it really is fucking on the money. Like, what is in that? It's fucking true, man. Like,
So, God, where were we? What were we talking about? Fifth Street.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had something to do with EA. That's how we got onto this.
I'm so confused. Oh yeah, that was the last game I played this week. I guess I guess that was what we were talking about, right?
Yeah, that's about right.
I guess we should talk about news or something. I don't know.
I guess
maybe.
we should.
I don't know. Did anything happen?
Video games, they're good.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a new Xbox.
What? All right,
What?
I'm out. That's it. I quit video games.
There's a new, there's going to be a new Xbox apparently. A new generation revealed according to the dashboard.
What the fuck?
It was funny. Like, I think I saw that I think it was a couple of days ago. I'll have to check out like Giant Bomb thread, but I saw it like while when I just booted up my Xbox, and it was weird. I didn't actually process it until I saw. I think it was your comment. I think you posted it, didn't you, Brad?
Which comment was that?
In our thread, like you posted.
Oh yeah.
Link. And that's when I actually processed, like, oh yeah, like the new Xbox was announced on the dashboard, and I didn't really know.
Wait, you saw that and just
I
went, okay.
saw that and was like, yep, whatever. I booted up my Xbox to play Geometry Wars. Go away. Like, and then I came on Giant Bomb and saw your post. I was like, oh yeah, that was on the dashboard this morning. Great. I just really, didn't notice that that was on there.
Huh. Weird.
So yeah.
What's that? The 21st of next month, isn't it?
Yeah, 21st of May. Yeah.
It's quite close to E3, isn't it? If you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, I just remembered another news article. I'll save that for later. But yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see what they choose to focus on. They've had a lot of time to prepare since the PS4 announcement.
Yeah. So. I think to a certain extent, though, like I think because they're going second, you can get a pretty good idea of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be just like, really passive aggressively saying the PS4 is a steaming pile of shit and the new Xbox is amazing.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, like, I think Sony probably, for once at least, I guess, didn't do that with the PS4. They
didn't need to. I mean, they had.
Oh yeah, they didn't. But I mean, for once they learned their lesson. I mean, the PS3, they were like, yeah, the PS3 is just this fucking raging hard-on of awesomeness, and everything else can go fuck itself.
Well, I don't know. They've been the terminology. I do hate marketing speech for everything, talking about the PS4 as a supercharged PC architecture. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, I know, because like I think that's just people that don't.
My eyeballs out.
Yeah, people that don't know anything about anything. They just eat that shit up.
Yeah, they fucking love that shit.
There's someone at work who plays games primarily on a PC. He's convinced that his processor has 8 cores in it and like does all this stuff. And I'm like, nah, dude, you just no. Like, I can't even be bothered to explain like why that's not true, but trust me, true. And even if it was true, it wouldn't make a difference anyway, because games aren't fucking made to take advantage of that stuff anyway.
That is the thing I am beyond excited for next generation, is fucking games actually being made for multi-core processors. It's like everything now runs at best like on 2 cores. And it's like, I have a 4-core processor, and 2 of them are constantly idle. Every game I play, I get about 20% CPU usage, and I'm being bottlenecked by my CPU. It's like, my CPU is basically idling and I'm being bottlenecked by it. How does this even happen?
I don't think that's ever going to change, really, as long as consoles are the main focus, which I think, let's be honest, now they pretty much never are not going to be. I mean, up until probably even a year into like the new console's launch, it's probably, you're not going to see a huge difference. It's still going to be like just kind of the incremental step up. Like, you look at kind of launch 360 games compared to like end of cycle PS2 games. Like, it wasn't that big of a difference, but you look at 360 games now and it's a huge difference. So it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll see.
Now, I don't even know when I'll get one of the two new consoles. It definitely won't be at launch unless they pull
give
something
them
out
away.
of their arse. But yeah,
I
give them away. Yeah.
But I'm still interested to see that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Definitely.
I like seeing what's changing in the industry, all of that kind of interesting sheet.
Yeah, I think with the Xbox though, I think I'm really hoping it's something I think the PS4 did. Well, that press conference did more than I was expecting. They talked a lot more about games than I thought they were actually going to.
Yeah,
I'm kind of expecting the Xbox thing to be more about why this is can do all this other stuff as well. It's like, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I think even before Sony did their thing, I think Xbox probably were looking at the social media or all that kind of shit aspect. And having now seen the PS4 one, they basically have two options. Either one, they revise their plan and try and talk more about games to try and keep up with what Sony have already said, or two, they just completely commit to that media aspect of it, and that's going to be their selling point. And if that's their selling point, I'm fucking done with the Xbox.
I mean,
get go and just the noise.
Yeah, I agree. My 360, bar like the bit of Gears I've been playing, just to kind of go back to Gears, it's been a Geometry Wars fucking cabinet. It might as well have been.
You should actually build.
That would be fucking awesome.
You should build fucking. Oh my god, you should.
Thinking about it,
take apart an Xbox controller and wire it up to a joystick and
that
however
wouldn't
many
be that
buttons
hard.
you need.
You could
totally do that. Get a wired Xbox controller, crack that shit open.
I can't remember where it might have been on Test Your Might, which is like a Mortal Kombat kind of community site. Somebody took apart. He used the board of a 360 pad. And he just got all the cables together and bought the buttons and the stick for an arcade stick and made his own stick, fully customized, and he just used the board of a 360 controller.
Yeah.
And wasn't. I mean, obviously, if you know what you're doing, it's not that hard. But it was fucking awesome that you could do the same thing, just have kind of the shell of a cabinet,
or just do a bit of woodwork, make your own custom.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be so cool.
There you go. You've got a project, Joe.
Got a Project Geometry Wars.
Turn your old 360 into a Geometry Wars cabinet.
That would be amazing. Geometry Wars 1 and 2 cabinet.
Yeah.
Just put a memory unit in there with those two games on it, because they're only fucking. I think the first Geometry Wars is 15 megabytes or something like that.
Wow.
It's crazily small.
Yeah. So that's after the Xbox thing. I guess we'll find out about that in a while. I've just been reminded of more news. Nintendo have pulled out of their E3 press conference.
What a shock.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Because they have
nothing.
Nothing to
Because they have nothing to show. I mean, that's not really come as a surprise.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I kind of disappointed because the only thing I care about at E3 is watching the press conferences because crazy shit happens. Also, Ubisoft will probably do something stupid, and sometimes games get announced. But I don't know. They said they're going to be focusing on much smaller events, and people have said, their Nintendo Directs have actually been kind of successful. I don't know if you guys have been watching any of them, but it's been a really good delivery mechanism for announcements of new games and such.
Well, Nintendo have always just kind of done their own thing.
Yeah, and they can continue to do that with the Direct stuff.
So
they're going to be doing a bunch of, I suppose, Nintendo Directs from E3, focusing on different aspects of whatever the hell they're up to these days, instead of a press conference. Wonder if Reggie will show up.
Maybe. I think it's a pretty smart move, to be honest.
Maybe this is the end of Reggie's reign.
I prefer a Wasa anyway.
I mean, you know, in a weird way, they're like E3. I mean, it's what's the phrase? It's like we pretty much know what we're gonna get. I mean, we don't know the particulars. We don't know, you know, the information in that, but we know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, you know, Microsoft and Sony, you know, comparing fucking dick lengths in terms of consoles. Like,
yep.
That's what it's gonna be. Like, you know, if you expect anything else, you'll be disappointed. That's all this E3 is gonna be. You might get some like old school revivals for the sake of, you know, just like not headline grabbing, but you know, like a Crash Bandicoot reboot or something. Like, you know, that would certainly turn heads. I'm trying to think of what like a Microsoft equivalent of that is.
They don't have anything.
Yeah, they don't have one.
My favorite rumor about the new Xbox is that one of their launch titles that they're going to try and replace Halo and Gears with is a Kinect-focused something. I can't remember the full thing, but yeah, Kinect-focused game is what they're planning on turning into their next Gears of War or Halo franchise.
Hey.
You know, thinking along them lines, right? That's pretty interesting. I mean, that's just beyond ridiculous, but something that I always found really fascinating, the Gears and Halo sort of event with 360, like when Halo 2 came out and ended and like the 360 was announced, you know, I was one of them. I bought a 360 primarily because I knew Halo 3 was coming out and I wanted to play Halo 3. And then Gears of War just snuck up on pretty much everybody. Nobody really expected that to like kind of take off the way it did. Like that was the Xbox, that was the 360's Halo before Halo 3. Like that was a system seller on for a lot of people. They're not going to have that this time, really. Like, because to the point where if a game is coming out, you know about it fucking God knows how many years in advance. Like, I mean, Gears was, you know, people knew it was coming, but like, wasn't that primarily a tech demo at E3? It was like the Brumac. That was like the Unreal Engine tech demo, wasn't it? I'm gonna look that up actually.
I'm not actually sure.
I think it was. I know it was the Brumac. Like that's pretty much what Gears came from. It was like the Brumac tech demo, and they just kind of went with it and went from there. If you guys haven't read it, I think it's the Xbox 360 Uncloaked. I think that's the name of the book. Really interesting kind of information in that, like with the lead up to the 360 and like kind of the role Gears played in it. It was a really, really good, really interesting book. But yeah, like I mean, you're never going to see a surprise game coming, I guess, but you know what I mean? You pretty much know if they have something that's going to be big, we're going to know about it beforehand. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if we get that again with whatever they call the next Xbox. But because apart from Halo and Gears, like they don't really have anything else exclusive wise, you know, that's even on that kind of level. I mean, Halo's not what it was. Gears certainly was. I mean, I think Gears kind of peaked with 2 in terms of, even though 2 is probably the worst Gears, but in terms of popularity, like it peaked at 2 because 1 was like a surprise hit almost, and then obviously the hype for 2 was insane. 2 was kind of broken when it came out, and 3 is awesome, but like, you know, 2 definitely burned a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
And kind of the same thing in some ways with Halo. Like, you know, I mean, I loved ODST, but like a lot of people felt ODST was, you know, kind of shameless. But you know, those titles are not what they were before. Like, you don't think of exclusives when you think of the Xbox anymore because they haven't really got any, which is the main reason. But I don't feel they can really bank on that. Like E3, like Sony can come out swinging with exclusives because they've still got shitloads of them. Like Gears and Halo are pretty much all the Xbox has, apart from Forza. But you know, Forza's not really in the same boat, I guess, as those games.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just don't know. Other news?
So, I mean, there's that THQ sales stuff got finalized. So, a while back, a couple of months at least. Some of the stuff from THQ got sold off, some of the franchises, and a bunch of stuff still hadn't been sold. So now I think everything's done now. I assume it is, because I can't think of any other big franchises that are missing. So
do you know who owns the Metro license?
Oh god, I can't remember who bought that now.
Because that's out in a couple of weeks, isn't it? The new Metro Last Light.
Was that not Deep Silver who bought that? Oh no, it was oh no, I'm not sure. God, I don't know. Anyway, so the stuff that did get sold, this week I think it was Homeworld, which was a fairly popular RTS, space RTS thing. As far as I know, I've never actually played it myself, so that got sold to Gearbox. Obviously dudes who made Borderlands, and I don't know, Duke Nukem, Aliens, Colonial Marines, some good stuff in there, but some not so good stuff.
Did you guys play Duke Nukem Forever?
Nope.
Did you play it, Brad?
Nope.
I played the demo.
Fortunate
it seemed
souls.
really bad.
God, that game was fucking terrible.
So yeah, hopefully they don't fuck that up, like they did with Duke or Aliens.
I don't think that can be.
Yeah, Duke's a weird one, I suppose.
That game was always going to be shit.
That was just them getting it out the door, I guess.
They got it out the door, which they,
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have. Probably should have slammed the door in its face, then killed it.
Because it's like that game coming out, if it never came out, there could have always been the hope of you just never know. That game could have been awesome, but it came out and it was just the worst piece of shit ever. And it's now we know. There's no mystery. The game came out and it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
It's like Half-Life 3. It's Half-Life 3 probably never will actually... Well, a game called Half-Life 3 probably never will come out. So people are always going to be, but you never know, Half-Life 3, this and that. If Half-Life 3 comes out and it's garbage, you don't have that line. You can't say, it could have been cool. It's no, it came out and it was shit. Sorry.
So there's a statement from Gearbox which basically made it fairly clear that their first goal with the Homeworld license is to just release that stuff on Steam, because that's fairly notorious for never actually having a game out on Steam. So whether that's them just making sure everything works that they have and then just putting it out, or doing HD stuff with it, I don't know. They haven't really made that clear, but hopefully that happens soon, because I it's always been a game I've been interested in playing, but I just never have. And there's maybe a slight suggestion that they might, do some new games in the franchise, depending on what interest levels are like. Maybe hinting towards doing a Kickstarter or something. And the other stuff, which includes Red Faction, MX vs ATV, Destroy All Humans, and Darksiders, was sold to a Swedish publisher called Nordic Games Publishing, who've mainly just been doing distribution for I don't know, normal games, and then I assume just turning them into whatever language needs to be done, so Swedish, etc. I don't know if they've actually been directly responsible for publishing something worldwide. I think they might have published a Book of Unwritten Tales, which is an adventure game from last year, which seemed interesting, but I don't know.
I really hope we get another Darksiders.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Darksiders seems bigger than these guys.
I don't know. I don't think Darksiders is really that big.
But it's bigger than a weird.
Yeah, true. I was really
European
hoping fucking
publisher.
Platinum were gonna get that.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about that when they were interested in acquiring that? Jesus, that game would have been. Well, there's no guarantees, but that game, a fucking Platinum Games developed Darksiders, I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
Because I really think, Darksiders 2 did a lot to make it better, but I think the combat's like the only main thing in that game, that is in need of a bit of work. Like I think the second Darksiders, bar the filler stuff in it, like really nailed the exploration and that a lot more than the first game did.
I'm trying to find anything about Nordic Games. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of information about them. They're a wholly owned subsidiary of Game Outlet Europe, so maybe, I don't know. By the way, Metro went to Deep Silver, who also bought Saints Row. So,
right, okay. Not long till. Are you guys getting Metro when it comes out?
I was considering pre-ordering it, because if you pre-order, you get the what's it called, Ranger mode, where there's like reduced HUD, increased difficulty, like single. It might even be like single life kind of thing. Which sounded quite cool, but it's like 35 quid, I think, on Steam.
Yeah.
And as much as I really want to support that game, considering how goddamn awesome the first one was, I don't know. Especially as I don't have time because of exams. I'll get it.
I'm definitely gonna buy it.
I really want to
get that day one.
Did you guys see the thing about THQ owing everyone loads of money?
No.
No.
Apparently, THQ owns Double Fine like $500,000, $500,000,000. Yeah, sorry, and like loads of other people, tens of millions of dollars, because of what was it, like not doing their job as a publisher effectively. But it's like they have no money, so
yeah,
what are they really gonna do?
Well,
yeah.
Oh, and Codemasters claim to over $1 million for unsold stock.
So I'm on Game Outlet AB's website, and I can't work out what the hell they actually do. Like I thought initially they're just like a game retailer, but it's like I don't understand. I think it might be like Costco or something, like a warehouse of just unsold games. But I don't understand why they own a game publisher, or how they can afford $5 million. Was it $5 million for all?
Maybe it's a scam.
Franchises?
Maybe it's the Gizmondo all over again.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the THQ stuff done with.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens to Saints Row and Metro and maybe Darksiders.
I think Saints Row will keep going.
Yeah.
Metro, I don't know.
Metro's just
you never know. Like, for all we know, Metro Last Light might end and, not need another game. But
yeah, I just wish Metro had been bought by someone like, I don't know, CD Projekt Red or something, like someone as weird and European as the dudes who obviously made that game. Like, it's just not a game that you can try and turn into a successful like business venture. I don't think it's not going to have that sort of appeal ever.
No, I agree. I think some games are just like that. I think in that instance, like, I'm really surprised we're getting a second Metro game at all.
Yeah, totally. That may have just been like THQ desperation, like we need to make more of whatever the hell we've got, even if it's not that good of a seller, because we got
there are plenty
nothing
of
else
games like that kind of. There are games that sales-wise do better than like Metro, for example, and you don't see a sequel.
Yeah, you don't see a sequel. Yeah. So that's it for the THQ sales. I'm not sure if there's anything else news-wise. Anyone?
There was something I just thought of when we were talking about THQ, and I've lost it now. I can't remember what it was.
Nice one.
I know. I'll remember.
Brad, what's the stuff about Steam subscriptions? Brad, where's Brad?
I'm on
Brad
mute.
die?
I've been speaking for ages. Steam introduced a subscription model for MMOs and such, so now you can pay for your subscription fee to an MMO through Steam directly, rather than so for EVE Online, for example, which is one of the games that you can pay an MMO fee for. Originally, you could just buy the game and you'd get 30 days of game time, and now they'll just debit you automatically. Oh man, I still want to play EVE. I do not have the time to play fucking EVE though.
That might be it. Once I'm done with uni, just sit in a room for 3 months and play EVE.
Man, that sounds so good.
Yeah. Sounds like a bad life decision.
No, it's a good life decision.
My life will go bad places if I just play EVE. Yeah, so is that it?
There was the PS4 specs thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. There was an article. Oh God, who was it with? Can you remember who was the guy who did the interview?
No.
I wish I knew.
Dave.
Some dude from who? Dave?
Dave. Yeah, Dave.
Okay, Dave did the interview about PS4 specs. Great for him, getting out there, doing that kind of stuff. Basically, they went into way more detail about what's up with the new PS4 architecture and how it's exactly different from a standard PC, and why that makes it, good for developers and hopefully is going to allow them to stay relevant for the length of the console life cycle. They were talking about how they had to design the system something like 5 years ago with the idea that it's going to last for another 7 to 10 years and still be relevant. Just trying to find my notes on the article now so I can kind of summarize what it was about. One thing they talked about was one thing I talked about in the podcast, in fact, was that URAM, what that actually meant, unified RAM.
Yeah.
I got excited thinking it was one of a new research area, which is a different type of RAM from normal DRAM, and basically means it can change between effectively solid state memory or your standard volatile memory that gets deleted when you turn off your computer. Sadly, they're not using that. What they meant by unified RAM is that the CPU and the GPU both share access to the same pool of RAM. So that 8 gigabytes is shared across the graphics card and CPU. So for example, if the graphics card was using 3 gigs of RAM, the CPU would only have 5 gigs available to use for everything else.
That is still a major upgrade.
Oh yeah, it brings it pretty current. My PC has 6 gigs of RAM for the CPU and 1.5 on the graphics card, so they're going to actually have more RAM in the new consoles than I have combined in my system right now. Which is interesting. And the benefits they talked about it is because it's obviously GDDR5 and they've got the CPU and GPU on the same chip. It means they both have really fast access to the same pool of memory. And if the CPU needs to do operations on something, the GPU can directly access it straight away without having to shuffle it in and out of memory on different parts of the architecture. So that's how they're going to save speed and such there. The other thing they mentioned, which I thought was quite interesting, is Blu-ray is too slow for next-gen games, as people have already guessed. Disk transfer speeds are not good. It's kind of increasingly becoming a non-viable method for playing games.
You mean a Sony proprietary media format didn't work?
No, it's just games that there are no discs. Discs are done. To go throw out all your discs, everybody. They're no longer relevant.
Yeah.
And I don't think they will be. I think
discs aren't going anywhere.
After this generation, I don't think consoles will come with a disc drive.
After this, to be honest, after this generation, I don't really look at the PlayStation 5 or Xbox, whatever, being guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the next 10 years over the course of the PlayStation 4 and third Xbox generation.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, you look at the beginning of this gen, the 360 when it came out, fucking 20 gig hard drive was considered enough, which is a fucking joke now. you look at the capabilities of what it could do when it came out versus the expectations of what the next console should be able to do. You know, think that like it's impossible to like guess where that stuff's going to go. You know, when like we're thinking about the PlayStation 5, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that discs won't be in it, but you know, I think the reason that discs I don't think will ever go anywhere is because they're just so cheap. They're just so cheap to make. Like it costs them what is it, like fucking 20p or something to like stamp a disc. That's how much it actually costs. Like physical, like the alternative on the physical media will probably never be cheaper than that. Like discs are just really, really cheap. That's why they're still around.
Yeah. I don't know. It just depends on how much download takes over, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
That becomes completely viable.
It is. I don't want that. Like, I'm all for, you know, like tech going forward and everything, but I really don't like the idea of like not owning something that's like detached from what I'm using it on, if that makes sense.
I don't know, you use Steam and you get over it.
No, it still kind of bugs me. Still bugs me that like I've got all those games in my Steam library and like that's it. It's like, nah, they should be like on a shelf or something.
Well, maybe you can start printing your own boxes and you can be that weird kind of guy that does that. And then everyone will look at you like a crazy person.
Everybody will look at me like a dedicated person.
Crazy person. What I was trying to say with the Blu-ray thing though is it's going to rip effectively the data off the disc as it reads it and then store it on the hard drive for faster load times afterwards. And anytime it's not actually spinning the disc, it will copy more data until it's copied the whole game.
That's cool, but then you get into like hard drive capacities and shit.
Well, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, hopefully they are doing right by the hard drive because everything they're talking about is, yo, we're going to be filling your fucking hard drive with shit constantly. Like with the background downloads that it can do whilst the system's off because it has, you know, multiple different almost second architecture just for keeping downloads open whilst the system's off. If you want to leave them on, you don't have to do that. And then there's also being able to suspend the system. It just keeps power running through the RAM itself.
I wonder if they'll keep. It seems almost confirmed in a sense because they haven't mentioned it in a weird way, but they'll probably keep like the swappable hard drives. Even, I mean, depending on like what size they kind of bring out of the gate, but it seems like it would be a really weird decision to like go proprietary for the PS4.
Yeah, it doesn't fit with their ethic, I suppose. Do they even make hard drives? Like,
I don't know.
Sony don't tend to go proprietary unless they're going to produce it themselves. You know what I mean? When they do something, they do it completely off their own back.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like I don't know what the Xbox hard drives are in, you know, the newer ones, like the slim Xboxes, for example. But in the old, like in the launch model Xboxes, it's just a 2.5-inch laptop hard drive with a, you know, that's been encrypted that you can't use it.
But I mean, Microsoft are buying those from somebody. I'm just saying, if Sony were to do it, they would. Drives. Yeah, if Sony were to do it, they would want to actually build the actual drive itself as well to cut down on costs.
Do you guys know what's in the 360 Slims?
I haven't cracked one open. I've only cracked open the original Xbox.
No, I don't know what's in it. But, yeah, like, I mean, I don't see any reason why Microsoft would change and actually, you know, make it swappable.
Yeah.
I mean, if they didn't put the kind of lock on the system, all you'd need is a screwdriver to stick a 500 gig hard drive in a 360. Like one of the, you know, launch model 360s, but you just can't do it because they don't allow you to.
I don't know.
I just don't think it's like hard drive space just shouldn't be a concern in next gen systems. They should let you put whatever the fuck you want in it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But if it's, I mean, depending on the format, I mean, I don't. What's the like largest capacity laptop hard drive? Like 2.5-inch form.
It's got to be somewhere between like 3 terabytes.
Yeah, like I just fucking do that. Don't put any. Like if you want to put 3 terabytes in your PS4, go right ahead.
Yeah.
If the console's supposedly going to last, 7 to 10 years, and download all this stuff and put all the game data and shit on your console, you're going to need the biggest hard drive you can get. So.
Yeah.
Until they bring out the PlayStation 4 Slim, obviously.
Have you guys seen those USB memory sticks that are like a terabyte?
No.
It's fucking funny. They're really chunky. They're like probably, I don't know, like 3 centimeters, like square, long, like 3 centimeters, like just thickness all the way around. And like
I'm totally gonna Google that shit now.
I think they're Kingston. If you want to look them up, I might be wrong on that.
What speed are they?
Like 250 meg read, 150 write, I think.
Okay.
Just like okay speeds.
Yeah, I was looking at them now because I don't remember why I had to do it, but I had to use a very, very, very old MP3 player as like a memory stick substitute the other day. Because I left all my memory sticks and shit at work, and I was putting a podcast on it, and it took like 2 minutes to put it on the MP3 player. I was like, holy shit. I checked this, it was going at like 1.5 megasecond or something. Like the read speed on it was just ridiculous. Yeah, wow, that's pretty chunky for a USB stick. You could fucking murder somebody with that.
Yeah.
Then again, though, a 1 terabyte thumb drive is pretty fucking cool. That's kind of awesome.
I don't know. That's like too much data to lose. Like on such a small thing. Like
that would be. Oh god! Imagine if you lost. It's like I lost a terabyte of data.
Like
it's like
shit.
Your whole porn collection's on it. No, left it on the bus. Fell out of my pocket.
Someone's gonna have
some like teenage kid just got really lucky.
The mother.
Some guy just became the most popular guy at school.
Oh man. Yeah, maybe.
Oh god.
How much do they cost? Can't imagine they're cheap.
I don't know. I haven't looked into.
I mean, a decent 1 terabyte hard drive is still like 50, 60 quid if you want a good one.
I'm not sure. It's got to be 100 and something, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft already tried to sort of approach this like memory expansion thing with letting you put like USB memory sticks in the 360, but like they restricted it. I think it was 16 gig per slot.
16 gig per stick. What you can
so like
bigger in there.
I mean, if they go for that, if they just have that again, but without the restriction, then I mean that basically allows you to have something crazy like that.
Would you guys be bothered about like having a USB hard drive like permanently plugged into a console?
I don't have enough USB slots for that.
Well, say if they had like enough USB slots to, accommodate it.
Yeah, I guess. If it was like, if that was the only way I could get extra memory and I really needed it, I'd probably do it. And it'd have to be like, freaking 500 gig extra or something stupid like that. Because on the current systems, like, even though I have the smallest hard drive on the current Xbox, I could plug in a memory stick and get more space on the memory stick than I actually have on my actual Xbox hard drive. And I don't do it just because it's not enough. There's nowhere for me to put an extra USB bloody stick in this thing. It's got like 3 USB ports, and one of them has to be used for Wi-Fi. It's a joke.
Does the USB... Can you plug in like a USB hub into...
That's exactly what I was about to ask.
Yes.
I can't imagine that.
I don't think it works.
Can you do that?
I think it doesn't push enough power or something. I mean, you'd have to use a self-powered hub, but I don't know. I doubt it.
I've got a USB
I just think
hub
that's
on
too
hand.
much. I think that's too much fucking about, and that goes against the point of a console.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to fuck about with that kind of stuff, you might as well get a PC.
I have to get a USB hub because my Wi-Fi adapter's used up all my USB ports. I should probably give up on that console.
Yeah, that's just too much messing around for something that's supposed to be, all streamlined and simple.
I have 2 memory cards in my Xbox. Does anyone else actually own an Xbox memory card?
I do own an Xbox memory card, actually.
Oh, do you have two though?
I don't have two.
Yeah, and are they different sizes? Do you want to know guess how big my first Xbox memory card was?
Is it 64 MB?
It is 64 MB, and it has my profile on it. It's always had my profile on it. I've never moved it.
You know, though, it just proves that in some ways size doesn't matter in that regard, because a 64 megabyte memory unit would be enough to hold Geometry Wars on it. So think about that.
I think my profile takes up like 20 mega this thing.
That's probably that's what will be in my Geometry Wars arcade cabinet. It'll just be that, like behind
Raw arcade Xbox with a 64 meg memory card in it.
And it'll just have Geometry Wars on it. And that's it.
You could just get one of those arcade discs and just leave it plugged in.
Yeah.
Yeah, put that in.
Okay, so I've got my 360 controller like charging cradle plugged in through my USB hub, and it is charging.
Oh, it will trickle. It'll trickle charge through anything. Yeah.
Okay.
I was more interested to see if it actually transfers data through.
Wait, I've got a memory stick as well.
All right, go for it. Do that shit.
I need to find my TV.
But don't you have to format it? Oh god.
We're doing this live. Live testing.
John is in the field.
Yeah.
With his Xbox, bringing you all the hottest news about USB.
Okay, so the light is on my memory stick.
All right, I'm gonna say.
John, do you still use like the battery packs for your controller?
I bought like a off-brand charging cradle thing because those things, the Microsoft ones, always broke.
Yeah. Do you have the off-brand one, which is like 2 stands and it came with 2 batteries? It's like a double stand and it came with 2 batteries.
Yeah.
Seriously, that thing is amazing. I've had that like 3 years and the batteries are still good on both the controllers. They hold a full charge for like 6 hours at least if I was playing like non-stop. Yeah, and the actual official Xbox one dies within a year.
Yeah.
Like, easily.
That's why I went back to a wired pad for the 360. Because I was like, fuck it. Like, I'll just...
This off-brand thing was cheaper than 1 battery. And it came with like a double stand charging cradle and 2 batteries. And they're amazing. It's actually unbelievable. Game Expert, mine says on it.
That's the same make as my PSP case. Which is easily the best PSP case ever, by the way.
This battery's so good.
Does it work, John?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Maybe. We don't know. Go if you find out, email us.
It's not showing up. So I assume no, but unless I'm doing something wrong.
Maybe do you have to format it on your PC first, or can you format it through the Xbox?
No. I had format it through the Xbox.
Oh no, because you can just read MP3s off of it, so it should show up.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't. Damn it. That could be my new like memory solution. Is just have a ridiculous USB hub with like
just have a USB hub with like 10 memory sticks. Have a USB hub like plugged into a USB hub.
Yeah, it's daisy chain USB hubs.
Oh, that'd be so bad.
Yeah, so I think this really does confirm they just need a massive fucking hard drive in the new consoles.
Yeah.
They really, I think like anything less than like 500, I think is just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
I tried plugging my Walkman in.
Fill up in no time.
I tried plugging my Walkman in. It just says connecting on the Walkman, but I don't think it is.
Walkman.
It's lying. Yeah, I don't have an iPod.
Damn fucking right. I don't have an iPod either.
Hey, these Sony Walkmans are actually.
Did I tell you guys I bought an Android phone?
Yeah.
I fucking hate iPods. iPods are so fucking stupid.
I've been playing games on Android. I played 1 Million. It's alright.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
It's a match 3 game.
Do you have an iPod, Brad?
I have an iPod Touch, yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
I'm kind of trying to stop using it now I've got this phone, though, because like, there's no point in paying this much for a phone if I'm not going to, do everything on it. And like, I barely listen to any music anyway, so it's like,
That's
don't
okay.
really need
I
to fill
just
this up with music.
I just think like dedicated iPods. Like if you have one of them, you're an idiot. Seriously. Like, just why would you pay that much for an MP3 player? Because I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's all they are.
I fucking hate iTunes. Like, I would gladly
I've never had it, but I mean, I don't
rub
like.
my face on
don't
sandpaper rather than having to use iTunes on Windows. It's like the worst thing
iTunes is
ever in
terrible.
existence. It's such a bad program. It's so slow, and
How
there's
is it?
no reason.
It must be at least better on Mac, surely.
Apparently, it's like actually pretty solid on Mac. Like all the people who use Mac and have like don't ever complain about it, but on Windows, it's a heap of shit.
I mean, that's not really much
from my experience.
You know,
and like,
they want people to buy Macs and shit.
I guess, but I just want to copy and paste my fucking music onto the thing. I plug my phone in, I drag and drop the files onto the thing into the folder that says fucking music, and then it goes. Like, why? I don't even need to put it in the folder that says music. It's just neater if I do. Like, why do I need a stupid program to do that for me? Like, am I that incompetent using a computer? I need a computer that allows me to do that with one button.
You're not, Brad. Mac users are that incompetent. They need the program to do that for them.
Oh God. This week, I think literally I had that revelation of how stupid iTunes is, like the whole syncing thing. It's like, oh God, why does that exist? Who is that incapable?
I have to apologize. This is not a personal thing. I'm just terrible with remembering people's ages. You guys 20 and 21?
Yeah. No, Brad's not 21.
Oh no. Are you 21, John?
I'm 20.
You're 20. Brad, are you
19?
19. Okay, 20 and 19. I was close. Yeah, that's not too far off. But like when MP3 players first came around, like the whole thing was just how easy they were to use. Like you just plug them in and you just drag and drop your music on it on your PC and you're good to go. This was when like the very first MP3 player were like 64 megabytes and they were like 250 quid. And then like iPods came out. And it was like, yeah, not only are they, like, insanely expensive, you also have to have this garbage fucking software that completely fucks up your computer to fucking use the thing. It's like, where did the logics just go out the window? It's like, when did people decide that, yeah, this was better than just being able to drag and drop files onto a, MP3 player and just listen to it? Like,
well, I mean, it became a fashion item to the point where no one else could compete because they just had so much of the market, and then everyone else just decided we can't really be bothered to make MP3 players because it's no point. True. And then now the only thing left is iPod, unfortunately.
Because the original iPod was a very, very nice looking piece of hardware.
Yeah, I'm really starting to run up against the edges of the memory on my Walkman, so I've been trying to like look into options.
What have you got, John? Like,
it is I think it might be the last generation of Sony Walkmans. I think they might stop making them. It's like 16 gig or something.
I think I filled my 32 gig iPod solely with Giant Bombcast episodes.
I've got the if you're looking for another one, I think I've just got like it is basically just an MP3 player. It's the SanDisk line of ones.
That's what I was looking into because people said they've got like decent memory and stuff. It's just I haven't been able.
The thing with them is they've got a micro SD card slot in them. Like mine is actually 4 gigs of installed memory, but I've just put an 8 gig SD card in it, so it's like it's now 12 gigs. So I've got like tons of music on it, tons of podcasts, and I'm still really comfortable for space. And it's like the size of a Tic Tac box.
Yeah. I mean, and then like the only other option is an iPod really, because they're like, they make them with ridiculous memory capacity and stuff, and they're just so ubiquitous. It's like there's pretty much no other option, which is a bit like, cause I don't really. I mean, I'm not even like like an audiophile. I don't like the sound quality on the iPod, or at least on the iPhone. Like when I am forced to listen to music through that, like I just haven't really liked it. And obviously I'd have to use iTunes, so I'd probably end up like killing myself or something because I just hate that program so much. I try to put a ringtone.
I've never really used it, to be honest, but for me it's just the idea of, like a dedicated piece of software to fucking move music around.
Yeah.
Like,
I use Windows Media Player because it's relatively simple. It's just drag and drop.
Yeah.
I tried to put a ringtone on my iPhone recently, and it's fucking just the weirdest, most backwards process I've ever experienced. It's just like, why can't this just be simple,
why can't you just, click the icon and drag it over and it does a copy and then boom.
It's just completely ridiculous. So that is something I do rue, the fact that like the iPod just became, completely monopolistic, I guess. And pretty much every other MP3 people, like every other MP3 manufacturer just decided, nah, there's no point.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, pretty much every single smartphone can play music, can't it? Like,
yeah, but then I probably just experienced the same like sound quality problems and stuff that like are annoying.
I don't want a smartphone though. I think they're dumb. Badum-tish, yeah, they should be called dumb phones.
I don't know, I get a lot of use out of the features of my phone. Like, I think the reason I upgraded from what I had before.
Do you really though, Brad? Do you really? Or does it just appear that you do?
I wanted to be able to browse full web pages.
Let's talk about this.
Because it pissed me off having only 2 meg of memory for a web page.
Yeah, but do you really need to browse web pages while you're out? Do you really need to do this? Can't that wait till you get home?
It does help for like communicating with people through like Facebook and shit. Because unlike you people who shun Facebook, because I might not have their phone number.
Get their phone number. You're holding a phone.
I find the iPhone useful, but not for anything like that I would, like die without.
Also, I can check like train times and stuff. I can get my emails and check like if
Why don't
I had
you check train times before you go out.
What happens if I was just out on like? Have you ever been spontaneous, Joe?
Yes, I'm spontaneous. I'm the king of spontaneous. I do things, and I just do things on the fly. I don't need a fucking smartphone to do that bullshit.
Is your middle name spontaneity?
Yeah, if I want to fucking go, like, the last week when I went to the that Heart of Gaming in London, like, I decided to do that like the day before, and it was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go to that. And it was like,
what was that?
That that thing I went to last Saturday, the Heart of Gaming in London.
You didn't.
You weren't on last week's show, were you?
Because I didn't want any spoilers about Book 5.
Oh right, yeah. Well, I talked about it last week, but yeah, it was like the offline fighting game kind of meet in London.
Oh, cool.
Like arcade setups and shit. Yeah, and yeah, I just like looked at train times before I went, and then boom.
You crazy bastard.
I know.
Sick motherfucker.
It's like, and I did it all without a smartphone. I'm like fucking Yoda.
You're pretty much Jesus. Like,
I basically am, yeah.
One step away from being
That's
Jesus.
Pretty much it.
So Joe hates phones, I guess.
I don't hate them. I don't.
Joe, you should read some Vern. Vern is a internet film critic. Who was also a criminal at some point. He's pretty funny. He hates mobile phones.
What's this?
Vern. He's just got VERN. He has a website called Something Stupid.
Is that the website? Somethingstupid.com. If I go to that right now.
Just are you?
Vern, and I've got the life and art of Vern.
Yeah, the life and art of Vern. I think is.
I don't have anything against. Like, I just resent this sort of accepted ideal that like, people can't survive without that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I hear people say, like, "Oh, I die without my phone," I'm like, "Well, kill yourself then and rid the world as a human being." Like, Because seriously, you're holding back evolution if you can't live without your fucking phone.
I'm thinking of buying a domain name.
What domain name would you buy?
I don't know, bradleypollard.com probably.
Just
nice and original. myname.com, why not?
for what? Like
portfolio.
Internet porn.
No, I need.
Nah, there already is one of them.
Yeah, that's bradleypollard.xxx actually. Do you know how expensive .xxx domain names are? Jesus Christ, they're like They're like £100 a year at least.
They even exist?
Yeah, they added them for porn websites, but no one uses them because they're so expensive.
Yeah, but porn websites are usually just like the porn star's name and then .com after it.
I know, but they added it because they thought people might switch over to it so that people wouldn't accidentally stumble across porn sites by trying to go to legitimate sites, but they didn't enforce it. So now you can have a .xxx address if you want.
Yeah, let's be serious though. Nobody accidentally goes to a fucking porn site. That is such a crock of shit.
I've accidentally been to a porn site before when I didn't mean to.
Oh, shit.
I found out recently that
there's plenty of things that you think are perfectly innocent when you type them in, and then they're not.
Really?
Yeah. I think I tried to find like AC/DC's official website a while ago when I was really into AC/DC, and AC/DC in Australia is also the like sort of slang term. I don't think it's used anymore really, but it used to be a slang term for transvestite.
Yeah.
So that went really well.
I was more referring to like just regular porn though, not like anything weird, I guess.
But I mean that's still a porn website.
Yeah, true. Okay, fair enough.
That was definitely pornographic in its material, and I definitely did not mean to go to it.
This seems to have scarred you, from the sound of it.
The website. I don't want to go back. My friend told me a funny story a while ago. For some reason he was showing his mom something on the computer, and he went to go on eBay, but he typed in, I think it was ebsy.com, and it turned out to be just this crazy hardcore porn website. while his mom was like watching over his shoulder as he was on the laptop.
That's brilliant. That's good. That's clever of that porn website to buy a typo of a commonly used website.
That happened to me once actually. My parents weren't there, thankfully. But I don't even know if it's still going. But there was a website called consolepassion.com. It was a like old school themed website where you could get like Sega games and like NES games and stuff like that, like a community almost really, to get that kind of stuff, but like have it in good condition. And what was the URL? It was, I think if you put it was dot something else, I think it might have been like dot. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, basically like putting the dot in another place was a porn site, and I did that like trying to go to that site, and I was like, this isn't the site I was looking for. So yeah, I guess it can happen. But
I found something out recently. Have you guys ever heard of Tuvalu?
No.
It's some island in the Pacific Ocean between Hawaii and Australia, and they're the fourth smallest country in the world. And like their largest source of income is their domain name is .tv. And so whenever someone buys a .tv domain name, they're buying a domain name from Tuvalu, so they get money from that. So everything that Twitch TV is technically a Tuvaluvian website.
That's pretty good.
So weird.
Have you guys seen Iron Man 3 yet? That came out was it this weekend?
I haven't even seen Iron Man 2, so...
Yeah, Iron Man 2 is not that good, really.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just skip that.
3.
No, I've never seen Iron Man 2. Previous to point.
I've heard not great things about 3. I really want to go see it though.
Yeah, I do. I really want to see that. Iron Man 1 is fucking awesome.
I hope that doesn't just become like the new Spider-Man.
I watched Iron Man 1 on my PSP on a ferry. True story.
What, for the first time ever?
Like a year after it came out or something.
That's obviously the optimal way to watch.
So, was this like the first time you saw Iron Man?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the only time I think I've watched Iron Man.
I didn't even know there was a fucking UMD of that.
Oh, I didn't have a UMD.
Oh, was it illegal? Oh, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, probably.
So Brad, who doesn't
Things I
watch
did as a
movies,
child.
the way you watch movies is on your PSP.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
I think I watched
you won't sit down
I
to
think I
like,
watched
watch something on
Jackass
TV.
2 on my PSP as well.
Oh man, you know the PSP, like, oh man, I've been using my PSP a lot recently because of like traveling and shit, and the PSP is fucking awesome. That is an awesome handheld. Like that is really cool. I've got like videos and shit on there, but it's usually like just sort of tournament shit and matches and stuff. It's awesome. PSP's cool. I did actually just try to look for an Iron Man UMD, like when you told me that. I was like, I'd buy that.
Done. Are we?
I guess we are just kind of going off about like.
Should we wrap it up?
Random
Video
stuff.
games.
I don't know. I thought we were still on topic.
We are still on topic.
No, you guys have been talking about.
Do you guys know like there are still UMDs for like current movies though?
That's crazy.
Shitting me.
No, like I'm looking at them now because I tried to find an Iron Man UMD. What's the most recent one?
Go buy all the UMDs.
Okay, we got Sherlock Holmes 2010. There's a UMD for Sherlock Holmes. What else we got here? The entire Harry Potter collection is on UMD, and that's like 2011. That's like 13 quid for all of it.
I thought you were going to say that's like 13 UMDs, and I was like, I'm not fucking surprised.
The box, the picture of the box looks disturbingly large, so yeah. Maybe
You probably have to swap out the frickin' disc halfway through the movie.
like 10 UMDs per film.
It's like playing it off of floppy disks.
Yeah, I actually do have a Harry Potter UMD. So yeah,
Jesus.
that was one of the things I bought purely because it was really, really cheap, and I wanted to own a UMD film for like future reference.
This piece of history.
Yeah, I think it was like £2.50 or something. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that just so in like 70 years I can be like, man, remember UMDs? No, because nobody owns these except me. Grand Theft Auto the movie for that's on UMD apparently. South Park film is on UMD. I'm just gonna kind of reel off like films that are on UMD. There you go.
Yay!
Taken is on UMD. I'd buy that. I'd watch Taken on the bus.
Oh,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Is like what is the use case for a UMD?
The first Terminator is on fucking UMD.
Like, can you watch a film? Can you like pause a film like midway through and then come back to it?
Not if it's the first time I'm watching the film. No.
Yeah.
If it's a film I've already seen before, yeah. But
that isn't the way. Like when I watch a movie, I want to just sit down and
watch
it. I don't.
Get fucking RoboCop on UMD. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that Have you guys seen the new RoboCop? Like the design of the new RoboCop, the reboot?
No.
Oh no, reboot remake. Have you not seen it?
Oh yeah, is that the one with the weird black suit thing?
Yeah, it looks like some kind of Mass Effect armor. Like it really does. Here we are. Oh man, there's a picture of him on a bike as well. That looks fucking stupid. Oh, that looks fucking shit. Have you guys seen the first RoboCop?
No.
That's the new one.
I think we talked about this at some point.
Have we? Have you never seen RoboCop?
No.
How the fuck is that possible?
It's just never on TV. I don't know.
Oh, you guys need to watch that. We need to do like a RoboCop podcast.
What?
That's the new one.
Looks like Batman.
It just looks fucking dumb. It just looks like
Batman.
But the RoboCop armor is really dumb.
Yeah, but it at least looks like what it's supposed to be. Like he's supposed, that actually looks like,
I guess,
part man, part machine.
That
one is quite obviously just a dude in a suit. Like that's not, that is just a dude in a costume. Like that doesn't look like a, I think in the actual film he's supposed to be like, I think he's like a spinal cord and like a couple of organs and that's it. That's like the only part of him that's human. And like part of his brain or something. Like the rest is like just all machine.
Yeah.
That's just a dude in a fucking suit. Man, there's a lot of fucking UMD films, man. This list is going. This list is not ending.
Right. Brad, end this.
Nah,
Fuck it, it's over.
Don't you guys want to know like what other films are out?
No.
No, we're done.
You sure?
Yes.
What if I told you Resident Evil 3 was on UMD and it was £35?
Why the fuck would you pay that much?
I don't know.
I swear UMDs weren't even that expensive when they actually
Air
existed.
Force 1 on UMD
Joe.
is £66.
Joe.
I'm not kidding.
Ask me something about UMDs.
Final Fantasy VII Add Children for UMD is £99.
Brad, just end it.
I will manually edit this out.
I have the original
Joe's
file.
voice.
I have the original file, and this will go on YouTube.
Right, Brad, just hang up the
making
call.
YouTube
Brad, just hang
videos
up the
this
call.
week.
Brad, just hang up the call.
If I hang up the call, it'll corrupt the file, and I'm not going through that
Exactly.
fucking
Can't
process of.
See?
Stop the
Fucking
recording
around
and
with
hang.
that again.
This can go in like
Sorry,
the outtakes episode or something.
I'm going to replace your voice with fart noises for the last half an hour. No, for the whole pod.
Nah, this is.
I'm going to
stuff,
spend.
man.
I could be revising for my exams, and look what you've made me do.
People need to know. This is useful information. You know what I mean? This is useful.
Fucking UMDs. Jesus Christ.
They are so dumb. They look cool though.
PSP. Fucking.
And.
End.